Forget the standard history books. Today, we are uncovering the weirdest, darkest, and most mind-blowing true events that actually happened. Sit back and prepare for the bizarre, because you are watching Absolute Neural Feed. Let's get into it. In 1923, a jockey named Frank Hayes won a championship horse race at Belmont Park, despite being dead. Hayes had never won a race in his life and suffered a fatal heart attack midway through the competition. However, his body remained perfectly balanced in the saddle as the horse, Sweet Kiss, charged ahead. The horse crossed the finish line first with Hayes still on its back. The crowd rushed to celebrate, only to find the jockey completely unresponsive. He became the first and only jockey to win a championship horse race despite being dead. This might be the most embarrassing death in Viking history. Sigurd the Mighty was killed by a man he had already decapitated. After a battle, Sigurd tied the severed head of his enemy, Mile Brigte, to his horse's saddle as a trophy. As he rode home, the dead man's tooth scratched Sigurd's leg. The small wound became horribly infected, and the great Viking Earl died shortly after. It's a grim irony that his greatest victory became his final mistake. He remains the only warrior to be killed by a man he had already decapitated. If you visit University College London, you can see a famous 19th century philosopher sitting in a glass cabinet because he was stuffed. Jeremy Bentham requested in his will that his body be preserved as an auto-icon. His skeleton was padded out with straw, dressed in his actual clothes, and placed in a wooden display case. His real head was mummified, but it looked so terrifying that they replaced it with a wax model. For decades, his actual mummified head was kept in a box, and students used to steal it for pranks. He wanted to stay influential after death, so now he sits in a glass cabinet because he was stuffed. King Charles II hated Oliver Cromwell so much that he had him executed, 2 years after Cromwell had already died. Cromwell had ruled England as Lord Protector after overthrowing the monarchy. When the king returned to power, he wanted absolute revenge. He ordered Cromwell's body to be dug up from Westminster Abbey. The corpse was dragged through the streets, hanged from a gallows, and then decapitated. His head was placed on a wooden spike outside Parliament, where it stayed for over 20 years. It shows that royal revenge doesn't stop, even if you've been dead and buried for 2 years. In 1850, a French family renovating their living room wall found a perfectly preserved, mummified body from the Middle Ages. The workers broke through the plaster and discovered a hollow chamber containing the upright corpse of a medieval knight, still wearing his rusted armor. Historians believe he was walled up alive as a punishment for treason against the local lord. The family decided it was too interesting to throw away, so they kept the armored mummy in their hallway as a coat rack for over 20 years before the museum stepped in. It's a creepy reminder of what might be hiding behind your living room wall. Imagine being a powerful medieval nobleman, only to meet your end in a pit of human waste. In 1184, King Henry VI called a meeting at a citadel in Erfurt. Dozens of European nobles gathered in a grand room to settle a political dispute. But the combined weight was too much for the old wooden floor. It collapsed. The nobles plummeted straight down into the monastery's massive latrine pit beneath. Around 60 barons, counts, and dukes didn't die from the fall. They drowned in liquid excrement, a dark, suffocating death for the elite of the Holy Roman Empire. Think that was bizarre? The strangest stories are still to come. Drop a like and subscribe to Absolute Neural Feed before we dive back in. In 1858, London smelled so bad that the government literally had to shut down because politicians couldn't stop vomiting. It was called the Great Stink. The River Thames was filled with raw sewage, and a massive heat wave turned the city into a giant toilet. The smell was so overpowering that Parliament had to soak their curtains in chemicals just to breathe. The crisis finally forced the city to build a modern sewer system, saving London from future disease outbreaks. It's a reminder that real progress only happened because the government literally had to shut down. Drowning in beer sounds like a dream, but in 1814, it was a terrifying disaster that leveled a London neighborhood. A massive vat at a local brewery burst, releasing over 300,000 gallons of dark beer in a massive tidal wave. The surge was strong enough to destroy 2 houses and take the lives of 8 people. When the case went to court, it was ruled an act of God, and no one was held responsible. Locals even tried to scoop up the free beer from the gutters while the tragedy unfolded. It was a day where a terrifying disaster leveled a London neighborhood. What is the worst way to get rid of a dead whale on a public beach? In 1970, Oregon officials decided to use dynamite. A 45-foot sperm whale washed ashore, and the Highway Division thought exploding it would blast the carcass into tiny pieces for seagulls to eat. They used half a ton of dynamite. The explosion was massive, but instead of vaporizing, it rained huge chunks of rotting blubber over a quarter-mile radius. It crushed cars, ruined clothes, and filled the air with an unbearable stench. It taught the world that you should never use dynamite to get rid of a dead whale. Before they were used to cut down trees or star in horror movies, chainsaws were invented to help doctors deliver babies. In 1785, 2 Scottish doctors created a prototype of the modern chainsaw. It was a small hand-cranked tool with a serrated chain, designed for a medical procedure called a symphysiotomy. Before the C-section became safe, doctors used this tool to manually cut through pelvic bone and cartilage to widen the birth canal during difficult deliveries. It was a bloody, terrifying medical reality long before chainsaws were ever used to cut down trees. In 1898, the pharmaceutical company Bayer marketed a brand new medicine for children's coughs. It was called heroin. At the time, doctors were looking for a non-addictive substitute for morphine. Bayer created a new chemical and claimed it was completely safe, even soothing for infants. They ran ads worldwide, promoting it as a cure for everything from colds to asthma. It took years for medical professionals to realize that patients were becoming severely addicted to the cough medicine. It remains one of the worst pharmaceutical blunders in history when Bayer marketed a brand new cough medicine called heroin. Before Jack the Ripper, London was terrified of a criminal who specialized in poking women's buttocks with sharp objects. He was known as the London Monster. Between 1788 and 1790, he attacked over 50 women, sneaking up from behind, slashing their clothes, and stabbing them while shouting insults. The city panicked. Men formed defense clubs, and women wore thick pots under their dresses for protection. A man was eventually arrested and convicted, though many believe it was a case of mass hysteria. It remains one of the weirdest crime sprees, where a criminal specialized in poking women with sharp objects. Everyone thinks the French invented the guillotine, but an English town was chopping off heads with a mechanical blade centuries earlier. It was called the Halifax Gibbet, and it was used in Yorkshire as early as the 13th century. It was incredibly harsh. You could be legally decapitated for stealing something as small as a piece of cloth. But there was a bizarre loophole. If the blade was dropped, but the prisoner managed to run away and cross the town boundary before the executioner caught them, they were legally free. This mechanical horror was active long before the French ever claimed they invented the guillotine. History is dark, weird, and completely unpredictable. Thanks for watching Absolute Neural Feed. If you survived this far, hit subscribe and click the video on your screen for another dose of madness. Stay curious, stay neural.